Have you ever looked at your lab report and seen your creatinine number and just moved on? Maybe the doctor mentioned it briefly. Maybe you Googled it once. Maybe you told yourself, it's probably nothing. But what if that small number is the only warning your kidneys are able to give? Kidney decline doesn't start with pain. It doesn't start with swelling. It starts quietly. So quietly that you can live months, even years, without noticing what is being lost. And here's the part no one expects. Sometimes the damage doesn't come from junk food, soda, or fast meals. Sometimes it comes from foods we proudly believed were healthy, foods we ate daily, foods we trusted. Before you eat your next snack, you need to hear this. A single tiny number on your lab report may be telling a story your body hasn't spoken out loud yet. Creatinine is a waste product that forms in your muscles and is carried into your blood. Your kidneys are responsible for removing it and sending it out of your body through urine. When your kidneys are healthy, creatinine levels stay stable. But when the kidneys start to lose their filtering strength, even a small rise in creatinine becomes a sign that the filters are under pressure. The difficult part is that kidney disease does not start with pain, and it does not show quick symptoms. The kidneys work quietly, without making noise or giving clear warnings. This is why many people continue living normally, thinking everything is fine, while their filtration capacity is slowly decreasing. They may wake up feeling a little more tired than usual, notice slight swelling in the feet, or feel heavy after meals, but they ignore it thinking it is stress or age. Because the kidneys can handle a lot of strain before failing, the early damage goes unnoticed. By the time obvious symptoms appear, a big part of kidney function may already be reduced. This is why doctors treat even small changes in creatinine levels very seriously. A change from 1 to 1.3 can look small on paper, but inside the body, it means the filters are struggling. But the surprising part is many people raise their creatinine without knowing, through something as small as a snack. Your kidneys work harder in one day than your hands work in a week. The kidneys are small organs, but their workload is continuous. Every minute, they filter your blood to remove waste, excess water, and chemicals your body no longer needs. This filtering happens through millions of tiny units called nephrons. Each nephron works like a fine screen, catching waste and sending it out through urine while keeping important nutrients in your blood. This process happens quietly, without pain, pressure, or noise. It continues every moment of your life, even when you are asleep. Because the kidneys work silently, damage builds slowly. Small stress on the filters does not cause sudden symptoms. The body adjusts and compensates, making it seem like everything is normal. You may still walk, talk, work, and eat without any signs that your kidneys are struggling. But inside, the filters become weaker. They may start losing their ability to remove waste efficiently, causing waste to stay in the bloodstream longer than it should. This buildup affects the body in simple but noticeable ways. Swelling in the feet or ankles can happen because the kidneys cannot remove enough fluid. Fatigue appears because waste in the blood slows down energy processes. Brain fog or difficulty concentrating can happen because toxins affect nerve signaling. These symptoms appear late, when damage has already advanced. And one of the biggest hidden stressors? It's in your pantry right now. What if the foods you believed were helping your health were quietly working against you? Many people choose foods based on what they hear in advertisements, on labels, or from general advice. Words like natural, healthy, heart-friendly, and superfood are used to make food seem safe for everyone. But the body is more complex than general labels. What supports one organ can sometimes strain another. The heart and the kidneys do not have the same needs or limitations. A food that lowers cholesterol can still overload the kidneys because the filtration system works differently. The kidneys have to remove minerals, electrolytes, acids, and waste. When a food is very high in any of these, the kidneys must work harder to process it. The label might say the food is nutritious, but the kidneys only see the extra load they are forced to filter. This is why some foods that are promoted as beneficial can become a problem for people with even slightly reduced kidney function. The kidneys do not get to rest. Every ingredient that enters the body must be handled, sorted, and filtered. A common misunderstanding is that if a food is good for the heart, it must also be good for the kidneys. For example, foods that are high in healthy fats or Vitamins may also contain high levels of potassium or phosphorus. The heart benefits from these nutrients, but the kidneys struggle to remove the excess. When the kidneys cannot filter well, these minerals stay in the blood and start affecting other organs. So choosing foods only based on one benefit can ignore another important risk. This is where the confusion starts. A food can be healthy in one way and harmful in another. The key is understanding the filtration workload. Let's start with the first nut most people trust and why it can quietly push creatinine up. Smooth, creamy, harmless, or a silent strain? Cashews are one of the most popular snacks because they taste rich and comforting. Many people consider them a healthy choice when trying to avoid processed food. But cashews contain a high amount of phosphorus, and this is where the strain begins. When the kidneys are healthy, phosphorus is filtered out easily. But when the kidneys are even slightly weakened, phosphorus starts to build up in the blood. This buildup can lead to calcification, which means minerals start to settle into blood vessels and soft tissues. Over time, this makes the arteries and kidneys harder and less flexible, increasing stress and raising creatinine levels. Imagine someone who believes they are doing everything right. A person decides to cut out chips and cookies and instead begins snacking on cashews every evening. They feel like they are making a healthier choice. The flavor is satisfying, and it doesn't feel heavy like junk food. However, a small handful of cashews contains more phosphorus than the kidneys may comfortably handle if filtration is already reduced. Weeks and months pass, and slowly the creatinine level increases. The person may feel slightly more tired, but doesn't link it to the snack. The portion size is where most people get misled. Cashews are eaten casually, straight from the bag, without measuring. Because they are small and pleasant to chew, it is easy to eat more than expected. A few extra pieces each day can push phosphorus intake closer to the upper limit. The food feels healthy, tastes good, and seems harmless. So the connection between the snack and kidney stress is easy to overlook. But cashews aren't the only nut that carries a quiet risk. The next one is even more common and sold as perfect for your heart. They sit in every kitchen, but your kidneys may not agree with them. Almonds are commonly seen as a perfect health snack. They are recommended for heart health, weight control, and stable blood sugar. But almonds are also high in potassium. And this is where the concern appears for kidney health. The kidneys are responsible for keeping potassium levels balanced in the blood. When kidney function begins to decline, they cannot remove potassium as effectively. Extra potassium stays in the bloodstream, and even a small increase can affect how the heart and muscles work. This condition, called hyperkalemia, can cause symptoms like muscle weakness, slow heartbeat, irregular rhythm, and in more serious situations, it can become dangerous. Many people do not notice the early signs because they are mild at first. They may feel heavier, more tired, or slightly dizzy. Because almonds are considered a healthy snack, the connection often goes unnoticed. Someone may eat a handful of almonds in the morning, another handful with tea, and add almond milk to smoothies without realizing how much potassium they are taking in. The idea that eating more of a healthy food always leads to more benefits is misleading. With kidney health, more is not better. The kidneys must process everything you eat, and when potassium intake is high, the kidneys may become overloaded. Even if the rest of the diet is careful, repeated daily intake of almonds can lead to accumulation. This is especially true for people who are older, have diabetes, high blood pressure, or already have slightly elevated creatinine. Almonds are not harmful for everyone, but for someone whose kidneys are under strain, they can quietly increase the workload. This is why portion awareness and understanding the body's limitations are important. But there's a third nut, one almost everyone enjoys seasonally, and its danger hides in sweetness. Soft, warm, comforting, yet capable of forming stones that cut like glass. Chestnuts are often seen as a gentle food. Their soft texture, warm flavor, and seasonal tradition make them feel safe, even healthy. But chestnuts contain oxalates, natural compounds that can combine with calcium inside the body. When oxalates and calcium bind together, they form solid crystals. Over time, these crystals can collect in the kidneys and develop into kidney stones. Kidney stones cause sharp, severe pain. but the formation process is slow and silent, which makes chestnuts risky when kidney filtration is already weakened. Another concern with chestnuts is their carbohydrate content. Chestnuts are high in starch and natural sugars. When eaten in larger amounts, especially without protein or fiber to balance them, they can raise blood sugar quickly. A rapid rise in blood sugar increases oxidative stress inside the body. Oxidative stress means that cells are exposed to more free radicals, which can weaken tissues, including the delicate filtering units inside the kidneys. This stress does not show symptoms immediately. It builds gradually, affecting filtration ability over months or even years. People often eat chestnuts by the handful, especially during colder months. The serving feels light and not filling, so it is easy to eat more than intended. The sweetness can make them feel like a healthier alternative to sweets or desserts, but the kidneys still have to handle the oxalate and sugar load. For someone whose kidneys are already working harder than usual, these small repeated exposures can contribute to stone formation and slower filtration. Chestnuts may seem harmless, but their combined effects can create strain that is not noticed until problems become noticeable. So, if these common nuts can slowly strain the kidneys, what can actually heal them? The same world that hides the problem hides the solution too. In nature, foods often exist in pairs of harm and healing. Something that places strain on the body is often balanced by another food that reduces that strain. The challenge is not that solutions are unavailable, but that they are less visible, less promoted, and less discussed. The common nuts we talked about create extra work for the kidneys through phosphorus, potassium, or oxalates. But there are also foods that can gently support the kidneys, reduce inflammation, and help remove waste more efficiently. The key is understanding which foods reduce burden instead of increasing it. The body responds differently depending on what it receives. When the kidneys are given foods that create more waste or require more filtration, they work harder. But when they are given foods that help lower inflammation, bind waste products, or improve blood flow, the pressure on the kidneys lessens. This balance allows the kidneys to work more comfortably and maintain their function for longer. Healing does not always mean taking medication or using complicated supplements. Sometimes it simply means choosing foods that reduce strain instead of adding to it. Many people are surprised to learn that foods considered small or simple can have noticeable effects on creatinine levels. These foods may not feel heavy, rich, or powerful, but their impact builds quietly. Instead of forcing the kidneys to handle large amounts of minerals or waste, they support the natural cleanup process. This approach does not produce quick, dramatic change, but steady improvement over time. The kidneys benefit from consistency, not intensity. This shift from harm to healing starts with choosing foods that work with the kidneys, not against them. Let's start with something tiny. Something almost too small to notice yet powerful enough to lower creatinine naturally. Small enough to ignore, powerful enough to change your blood work. Flax seeds are often overlooked because of their size, but they contain nutrients that directly support kidney health. One of the key nutrients in flax seeds is a type of omega-3 fatty acid called ALA. This omega-3 does not act like fish oil. Instead, it works more gently. It reduces inflammation inside the tiny filtering tubes of the kidneys. When these tubes are inflamed, they cannot remove waste effectively. By lowering inflammation, the filtration process becomes smoother, which can help reduce creatinine levels over time. Flax seeds are also rich in soluble fiber. This type of fiber works like a sponge inside the digestive system. It binds to waste products such as urea and nitrogen that would normally need to be filtered out by the kidneys. When this waste binds to fiber, it leaves the body through the digestive tract instead of passing through the bloodstream and into the kidneys. This reduces the workload placed on the kidneys each day. A lighter workload means the kidneys can function more comfortably and maintain their ability to filter blood. However, flax seeds only work effectively when they are prepared correctly. Whole flax seeds can pass through the body without being digested. To get the benefits, the seeds need to be ground into a fine powder. The best way is to use a small grinder just before use, because ground flax seeds can lose freshness quickly. Once ground, they can be stored in an airtight container away from heat and sunlight. To use them daily, start with 1 tablespoon in the morning. You can mix the powder into warm water, oatmeal, yogurt, or smoothies. The taste is mild and blends easily with other foods. Some people gradually increase to 2 tablespoons per day if they tolerate it well. Because flax seeds absorb water, drinking enough fluids throughout the day is important to help digestion. This simple addition to a daily routine can support kidney function without causing strain. It is small, steady, and gentle support rather than something dramatic. But healing isn't just nutrients, it's also energy source. And there's a nut that gives energy without strain. The nut everyone avoids might be the one your kidneys love most. Macadamia nuts are often seen as too rich or too fatty, so many people skip them when choosing snacks. But for kidney health, macadamia nuts can be one of the gentlest options. They contain very low levels of potassium and phosphorus compared to many other nuts. This means that the kidneys do not have to work as hard to remove minerals after eating them. When kidney function is reduced, even small differences in mineral content can make a meaningful impact on daily filtration load. Macadamias are also high in monounsaturated fats. These are the same types of fats found in olive oil. Monounsaturated fats provide a steady source of energy without causing spikes in blood sugar or placing extra stress on the kidneys. This makes macadamia nuts a useful option for people who feel tired easily or need something satisfying between meals. The fats digest slowly, keeping energy levels more stable. Unlike snacks that come from processed foods or sugar, macadamias do not create sudden pressure on the filtration system. Because macadamias are rich in calories, a small serving is enough. This helps prevent overeating while still providing satiety. Many people feel full after just a few nuts. A typical portion for kidney-conscious eating is around 5 to 7 macadamia nuts per day. They can be eaten alone, added to a small snack plate, or chopped into oatmeal or salads. Choosing unsalted varieties is best, since added salt can increase blood pressure, which is a major factor that affects kidney health over time. Macadamias offer a way to enjoy a snack without creating stress on the kidneys. They support energy, reduce hunger, and avoid the mineral overload that other nuts can bring. But there is one more nut, the most powerful one, known for its healing effects for centuries. Shaped like the brain, but its real magic lives in your kidneys. Walnuts are known for supporting brain health, but they also offer strong support for kidney function. They are rich in ALA, the same type of omega-3 found in flax seeds, and contain polyphenols, which are antioxidants. These nutrients help reduce CRP, a marker of inflammation in the body. When CRP levels are high, inflammation affects blood vessels and filtering structures inside the kidneys. Lowering CRP reduces this pressure, allowing the filtration process to work more smoothly. Inflammation inside the kidneys can make the filtering units less efficient. When inflammation goes down, the flow of blood through these filters becomes clearer and more consistent. This can help the kidneys remove waste more effectively and maintain stable creatinine levels. Walnuts do not act quickly or dramatically, but they create steady support. They help the filtration system stay calm instead of overreacting to daily stress. Another benefit of walnuts is their balance of nutrients. They contain healthy fats, moderate protein, and a controlled level of potassium and phosphorus. This makes them easier for the kidneys to manage compared to heavier nuts. However, to receive the full benefit, how walnuts are prepared matters. Raw walnuts contain enzyme inhibitors, which can make them harder to digest. Soaking walnuts in water overnight reduces these inhibitors and makes the nutrients easier for the body to absorb. After soaking, they can be eaten plain or lightly warmed to improve texture. A typical daily amount is 4 to 5 walnut halves. This is enough to provide the necessary nutrients without adding excess calories or stress. Walnuts can be added to breakfast, eaten as a light snack, or mixed into salads. The goal is consistency rather than large quantity. Small, repeated intake supports kidney function better than larger amounts taken occasionally. Walnuts are not a cure, but they work gently with the body's natural processes. They help maintain a calmer internal environment, which allows the kidneys to perform their work with less resistance. Over time, this can help maintain stable filtration and reduce the progression of stress on the kidneys. So, if the foods are clear, the real question is, how do you use them correctly? Healing isn't just knowing, it's practicing. To support kidney function, snacks should be chosen in a way that reduces strain and provides steady energy throughout the day. A simple routine can make this easier to follow without overthinking each choice. In the morning, start with flax seeds. Take 1 tablespoon of freshly ground flax seeds and mix it into oatmeal, yogurt, or warm water. This helps reduce inflammation early in the day and begins lowering the amount of waste the kidneys need to filter. If someone prefers a light breakfast, the flax can be added to a small fruit bowl with berries or sliced apple. For midday, when hunger usually rises between meals, macadamia nuts are a gentle option. A portion of 5 to 7 macadamia nuts provides energy without placing extra pressure on the kidneys. They can be eaten alone or paired with a cup of green tea or warm water. The goal is to avoid overeating or turning to processed snacks that can raise sodium levels and fluid retention. In the evening or late afternoon, walnuts can be included. 4 to 5 walnut halves, preferably soaked overnight, offer support for inflammation control and stable filtration. Soaked walnuts are easier to digest and feel lighter compared to raw nuts. They can be eaten plain or added to a simple dish like cooked grains, a small salad, or a bowl of steamed vegetables. Keeping portions small and consistent is important. The purpose is to provide nutrients without overwhelming the kidneys. Measuring servings instead of eating directly from a bag helps prevent taking in too much at once. This routine can be repeated daily, adjusted slightly based on preference and appetite. These small choices, done regularly, can support kidney function and provide balanced energy. But timing is just as powerful as the food itself. Your kidneys heal when you sleep, but only if you set them up properly. During the day, the kidneys are busy filtering waste, balancing minerals, and maintaining fluid levels. At night, when the body rests, the workload changes. Blood flow to the kidneys becomes steadier, and the filtration process becomes more focused on repair. Small injuries to the filtering units can begin to recover, and inflammation can decrease. This nighttime repair is important for keeping creatinine levels stable and preserving kidney function over time. However, this natural repair process is affected by what is eaten before sleep. If heavy foods or fatty snacks are eaten late at night, the digestive system continues to work actively when it should be slowing down. This keeps the kidneys engaged in processing nutrients rather than resting and repairing. Fats take longer to digest than carbohydrates or proteins, so they stay in the system longer and delay the shift into recovery mode. When the kidneys are forced to stay active late into the night, the repair window becomes shorter. Late-night snacking can also lead to dehydration, especially if salty foods are involved. Dehydration makes the blood thicker, which means the kidneys must work harder to filter it. This repeated stress can slowly affect filtration capacity. Even snacks that are healthy during the day can become burdensome if eaten too close to bedtime. To support nighttime kidney repair, the last snack of the day should be eaten earlier, ideally a few hours before sleep. Allowing time for digestion helps the body move into its natural recovery phase smoothly. Small adjustments in timing can make a noticeable difference in how refreshed the body feels in the morning and how stable creatinine levels remain. So how do you build a daily rhythm your kidneys can thrive in? Small steps, measurable change. The goal is not to change everything at once, but to create small habits that support the kidneys every day. A 7-day plan provides structure and allows the body to adjust gradually. Day 1. Add 1 tablespoon of freshly ground flax seeds to breakfast. Day 2. Continue flax seeds in the morning and add 5 to 7 macadamia nuts as a midday snack. Day 3. Keep the first 2 steps and include 4 to 5 soaked walnut halves in the afternoon. Day 4. Drink water consistently throughout the day, taking small sips rather than large amounts at once. Day 5. Reduce salty snacks and avoid eating anything 2 to 3 hours before bedtime to support nighttime repair. Day 6. Keep meals simple and avoid combining multiple heavy foods at once. This reduces load on the kidneys. Day 7. Reflect on how the body feels. Notice any changes in energy, digestion, or swelling. This plan is not meant to be complicated. The changes are small, but they are steady. Each step reduces strain and supports filtration. The goal is to allow the kidneys to work without constant pressure. Many people find that after a few days, they feel slightly lighter or more comfortable. Some notice reduced bloating or clearer focus. The challenge can be repeated or continued as a routine. Once the habits are in place, They become easier to maintain without needing reminders or planning. But one final truth decides whether the healing continues or fades. Your kidneys never stop fighting for you. The question is, will you fight for them? Each day, your kidneys filter your blood without asking for attention or recognition. They work continuously, even when you are tired, distracted, or dealing with other challenges. Their work is steady and quiet. This script has shown that even small choices can either support them or place stress on them. The purpose is not to remove foods forever or create fear, but to understand the difference between strain and support. The decision to care for your kidneys is not a one-time action. It is the result of repeated small steps. Choosing flax seeds in the morning, choosing macadamia nuts at midday, choosing soaked walnuts in the afternoon, and avoiding heavy late-night snacks are choices that signal care. These choices do not require major lifestyle changes. They require awareness. Awareness leads to protection, and protection leads to long-term stability. You have the ability to influence how your kidneys function by understanding what they handle each day. When you choose foods that reduce inflammation and lower filtration load, you are working with your kidneys instead of against them. This cooperation can help maintain comfort, clarity, and steady energy. There is no need for perfection. The goal is consistency. If there are days where the routine is not followed perfectly, progress is not lost. What matters is returning to the habits that support your organs. The kidneys respond to patience and steady care. The choice is simple. Continue unknowingly placing stress on an organ that never rests, or support it with small daily actions that preserve its strength. Because in the next video, we uncover the morning habits that silently raise creatinine even in healthy eaters.